Classic Historical Tales presents The Last Reich, Hitler in Argentina, 1945 to 1970. It began with the whispers, soft as a dying man's breath, wafting across the snow-choked peaks of the Bavarian Alps in April 1945. Berlin was on fire, the Soviets were closing in, and Adolf Hitler, the most hated man in modern history, vanished. Chapter 1. Odessa Sunset, 1945. The escape had taken months to plan. SS Sturmbannführer Otto Skorzeny, famed for his daring rescue of Mussolini, coordinated the extraction under Operation Werewolf Shadow. Hitler and Eva Braun, along with a small corps of aides, slipped away from the collapsing Third Reich using a labyrinthine route of doubles, forged documents, and false suicides. Their destination, Argentina. They arrived in late July via U-977, docking at the quiet port of Necochea under the cover of night. Waiting for them was Martin Bormann, already well entrenched with forged credentials and deep pockets. Juan Perón, then a rising star in Argentine politics, had been courted for years by Reich assets, and now, bolstered by German gold and scientific promise, he delivered refuge. Residencia Inalco. By 1946, the Führer had been reborn as Adolf Lerner, a retired German botanist. His new home was a sprawling Alpine-style estate called Residencia Inalco, nestled by the crystal waters of Lake Nahuel Huapi near Bariloche. Guarded by armed men posing as ranch workers, the property became a fortress in the Patagonian wilderness. Eva, pale and distant, wandered its halls in silence, clutching a small white dog and reading faded Goethe verses. She had aged rapidly, her dreams of grandeur reduced to long walks and bitter glances. Hitler, however, found solace in routine. He painted watercolors of mountains, ranted to his aides about the Jewish menace in America, and smoked furiously, despite his once rigid views on personal health. The man who had once held Europe by the throat was now a recluse in a cardigan, squinting into the distance as snow fell on his veranda. Martin Bormann, however, was thriving. He had escaped with not only Hitler's blessing but the full backing of the Reich's remaining capital. Using Nazi-looted gold stashed in Swiss banks and Argentine accounts, Bormann created a shadow empire. Factories in Cordoba and Mendoza, shipping lines operating under neutral flags, and arms deals funneled through Paraguayan smugglers, all served his dream of building the Fourth Reich in exile. Though Hitler was technically the figurehead, the real decisions were Bormann's. A new generation of fugitives like Dr. Josef Mengele, the Angel of Death, and Klaus Barbie, the Butcher of Lyon, joined the fold. Mengele found work in Buenos Aires under a false name, continuing his genetic research on twins and indigenous populations in the interior. Barbie became a liaison with right-wing death squads in Bolivia. Bormann held annual gatherings in San Carlos de Bariloche, masquerading as reunions of the German Cultural Society. Hitler was rolled out in a wheelchair, sunken-eyed and wrapped in blankets, giving raspy toasts in broken Spanish. The illusion of leadership was enough to keep the faithful loyal. The old man was no longer a tyrant. He was a relic, wheeled out like a ceremonial flag. "You give them a corpse that still breathes," Bormann once said to Eva, "and they'll never challenge me." A 4. The body deteriorates, 1950s. By 1950, Hitler's body was betraying him. Years of stress, Parkinson's, and an undiagnosed autoimmune condition had left him frail. His hands trembled uncontrollably. His mind wandered. He confused dreams with memories. Sometimes he called for Goebbels, other times for his dog, Blondie, long dead. He raged at the radio, especially when it broadcast news of West Germany's economic recovery and America's Korean intervention. "They should be burning! All of them! Traitors!" he would shout before falling into fits of coughing. Eva cared for him in her way, spoon-feeding him broth, bathing his thinning body, and crying in secret. She no longer called him Mein Führer. She called him Adi, a name she had once whispered in affection, now used out of pity. Meanwhile, Bormann expanded operations. He traveled freely between Paraguay, Chile, and Brazil under at least 3 identities. President Stroessner of Paraguay, a staunch anti-communist, offered safe passage, secure compounds, and intelligence sharing in return for Nazi advisors. German scientists aided agricultural development. Mercenaries trained the military police. The world was changing, but Bormann adapted. Hitler, stuck in time, could only watch from his bedroom window.